All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are breaking down Lions edge defender Aidan Hutchinson and what he can do and what he will have to do for this Lions defense in order for the Lions to beat the Los Angeles Rams in the upcoming wild card round. We've got a great set of cut-ups for you today, highlighting Hutchinson's performance against the Vikings. We're going to explain why this film gives an indication to the Lions game plan that they're going to have to use against the Rams and why Hutchinson could have a big day. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a standard pass rush. There is Hutchinson. I said he's an edge defender, of course, as everyone knows, but he's actually lined up in a three technique here. A three technique is the outside shoulder of the guard. A normal alignment for Hutchinson is a five technique. That would be the outside shoulder of the tackle. That's where 55 is right here. You can see the Lions have four down linemen. You got the one guy on the far left on just there on the edge of your screen. And the reason you bring Hutchinson inside to this position, of course, is to get a matchup on a guard. That's a favorable matchup for the Lions. Hutchinson on a guard. This is what the Lions have to do to compete against the Los Angeles Rams, to beat the Los Angeles Rams. Let's check out how this play goes. All right, there's the snap. Again, you can see the one-on-one matchup across the board right here in terms of the right guard on Aidan Hutchinson, right tackle on Barnes 55. You can see the left tackle one-on-one. The Vikings try to double team inside here to the left. I don't think that's a smart strategy, but regardless, you got Aidan Hutchinson one-on-one. And again, when you get this against the Rams, Hutchinson's going to have to take advantage of these opportunities because, again, Kevin O'Connell, the head coach, offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, he was a Sean McVay disciple. He was an offensive coordinator under McVay. What O'Connell likes to do is very similar to what the Rams are going to like to do under McVay, which means you are going to get opportunities like this. This is what this kind of offense gives you. They sometimes will leave their offensive linemen on an island, and when you get these chances, you have to take advantage of it. And that's exactly what Aidan Hutchinson does here, gets the sack. Again, Hutchinson, I can go through his technique and grade it. It's all fantastic because he's a phenomenal football player, right? Swipes away the hands, great speed off the ball, great length, fights through with the rip, gets the sack, all across the board, all pro kind of play. You're going to have to make these plays against the Rams, right? You're going to get these one-on-one opportunities because McVay, like O'Connell, will leave his offensive linemen on islands at times. Hutchinson has to make these plays, and I think he's got a good chance to do that against Los Angeles this weekend.
Yeah, and again, Hutchinson just really dominating in this game. This is one of his best games of the season versus the Vikings. This was a truly, truly fantastic performance with the PFF grades to match a 91.7 defensive grade and another pairing that with a 91.7 pass rush grade. Aidan Hutchinson was phenomenal this game, and I really like that he's coming into form this year right before the playoffs, so great timing on his part as well.
All right, next up, we've got another pass rush situation for you. There is Hutchinson right there on the right side of your screen. This time he's lined up in a traditional defensive end alignment. You could call that a five technique. You could call that a seven technique based on how wide he is. But regardless, he is the edge outside rusher. And again, we're going to talk about what the Vikings like to do versus what the Rams like to do. And it's extremely similar. Obviously, the Vikings run a lot more shotgun than the Los Angeles Rams. But in terms of schematic, in terms of what they do up front, it's very, very similar, especially in regards to let the Rams, like the Vikings, leave their offensive linemen on a lot of islands, right? And this is normally what teams do that have a lot of offensive weapons. They usually let their offensive linemen try and sort it out however they can, because in this case, the Vikings have guys like Justin Jefferson. The Rams are going to have guys like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They want to make sure that those guys are focused on running routes and getting open and catching the football, and they sort out the offensive line however they can. That means, though, if you're the Lions, like you saw against the Vikings, you're going to get one-on-one matchups. You're going to get Aidan Hutchinson one-on-one on the right tackle right here. Hutchinson doesn't directly make this play, but again, the way he goes about it in his pass rush creates a negative play for the Vikings offense, positive for the Lions defense. Let's check it out. So there's a snap. Again, you can see the pass rush. Here's what I love about this perspective right here. Obviously, Aidan Hutchinson, strong use of the hands. Let's go back to the very beginning. He takes his hands, takes a wide angle, gets right into his chest. That's really tough for the right tackle or any offensive lineman to handle. I love when edge rushers, they start vertical, get that offensive lineman working vertical, and then transition into a bull rush right into his chest. That's exactly what Aidan Hutchinson does here. Phenomenal pass rush move, makes it really tough to block. But the reality is when you do that, you're normally not going to get the immediate sack like we saw in the first play. But against a team like the Vikings and like the Rams, who can leave their offensive linemen on islands, it gives opportunities for other players to make plays. Because right here, if you look inside, you had one-on-one matchups, and now you got two defensive tackles right in the quarterback's face. Aidan Hutchinson is collapsing the right side of the line. The quarterback, Nick Mullins here from Minnesota, is about as mobile as Matthew Stafford. Stafford wants to sit in the pocket and throw it down the field. Right here, Matthew Stafford, Nick Mullins, it doesn't matter. He has to escape. He's not mobile enough to escape. He gets sacked. This is the recipe. Get after the quarterback, but maintain your pass rush integrity. Focus on collapsing the pocket around him, because whether it's Stafford or Mullins, right, like we saw against Minnesota, they're not going to be mobile enough to escape and make plays with their legs. That allows other guys to make plays. Again, was this the most dominating win for Aidan Hutchinson compared to his first rep? No, but it's just as effective for helping the Lions defense come out on top. All right, let's show another example of what the Rams will try to do to the Detroit Lions. It's very similar, once again, to what the Vikings tried to do. Here's Aidan Hutchinson right here on the right side of your screen. So the Vikings right here are going to have everyone working this way. They motion anyway across this formation. Everyone up front going this way. It is going to be a misdirection. They're going to try and run a reverse behind this situation right here. The Rams do this a lot. A lot of times they do this with a standard speed sweep. They'll have someone come behind the quarterback. Sometimes they'll do a wide end around kind of concept. But irregardless, it puts a lot of pressure on the backside edge defender, where you got to respect the run enough and then get up the field vertical to make the play. It's a hard assignment, but let's check out how Aidan Hutchinson does a great job of it on this play, and it should be huge for the Lions defense against the Rams. All right, you see the motion? There's the fake, end around. Aidan Hutchinson gets up the field. Huge tackle for loss right there. Basically kills the drive for the Minnesota Vikings. These are the plays, that Aidan Hutchinson will have to make for the Lions to win. If he makes these plays, the Lions have a chance. If he doesn't, the Rams will beat Detroit. It's that simple. I know the Lions offense is great, but it's going to come down to these opportunities, because this isn't going to be Justin Jefferson, but this will be Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, great players in their own right. And guess what? The Rams are a lot better than the Vikings. They're going to execute a lot better up front, better quarterback play, better offensive line play. It's not going to be this easy, but this strategy, this technique by Hutchinson, this is what will win them the game, right? You have got to get these players on the ground when they do these jet sweeps and these end arounds for the Los Angeles Rams. If you cannot and they get outside, you have no chance to stop them. It is that simple. This is how McVay obliterates all backside contain. If you can't do this, the play action game will be there, the run game will be there, and you'll have no chance on defense. Aidan Hutchinson shows the formula right here that he can do it. It's about him executing against the Rams. There's a strong chance I think he will get it done, but he's going to have to do a phenomenal job staying home and being a great athlete, just like we're seeing right here.
And Nick, in the past couple of games, Aidan Hutchinson has been a great run defender as well. Everyone knows, phenomenal pass rusher, but he's had some of his better run defense grades the past couple of games, to 66.1, 77.8, 68.6. These are some really solid run defense grades for Aidan Hutchinson, just showing he's a guy, like you said, knows how to stay home. He knows how to play the run. So once again, if you need to lean on someone in situations like this, Aidan Hutchinson is going to be the guy. He's proved it time in and time out that he is now up to par. He's up to speed. True. His best form is right now, and he's going to make some big time plays versus this Rams team.
All right, this next play here, I think, is my favorite cut up to demonstrate exactly the kind of game Aidan Hutchinson could and probably will have to have for the Detroit Lions against the Los Angeles Rams. This is a formation and a look that's very similar, almost identical to what the Rams do with McVay. You can see the receiver right there. He's kind of blurry right there. He's coming in motion across the formation. The Rams love to do motion. You can see two tight ends right here for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, very similar. One running back right there. Very similar look, very similar scheme kind of dynamic here that you're going to see up front for the Los Angeles Rams. What the Vikings are running up front, everyone's going to sell inside zone up front, working offensive line. They're going to take the tight end. He's going to come across the formation to pass block however he can this way. It's going to be a play action. The quarterback's going to set up and try and throw the ball downfield. It's going to leave Aidan Hutchinson one-on-one with the tight end. This is a matchup that's going to happen a lot for the Detroit Lions against the Los Angeles Rams. Aidan Hutchinson has to win it. Let's check out how he does here. All right, there's a snap. You can see the play action. You can see the tight end come across the formation. You can see the one-on-one matchup right there. Again, Aidan Hutchinson has to win this. Immediately beats him, works upfield, gets a sack. That's how you beat the Los Angeles Rams. Lions fans, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a brutal matchup for you guys, Rams against you guys. The Rams are veteran. They've got a lot of talent across a lot of key positions. Obviously, the Laporta injury doesn't help out your offense. You're going to need Aidan Hutchinson to come up with some big stops, some big sacks in key situations. And you're going to have chances like this right here because, like the Vikings, the Rams are going to want to run play action, to get the ball to Kupp or Nakua down the field. In order to do an effective play action, they're going to leave their tight end one-on-one with Aidan Hutchinson maybe once or twice a game. When that occurs, Hutchinson has to make the play. I think he can because the film, like we're seeing here, shows that not only can he make the play, he makes it look easy and he dominates doing it. This is the secret to the Lions' success to beat the Minnesota Vikings.
And Nick, you talk about Aidan Hutchinson making a lot of stops in this game, and it's like I said, perfect timing. He's really starting to heat up. Last 2 games combined, 5 sacks, but also stops per PFF are tackles or plays made by the defender that constitutes in a failure for the offense. Hutchinson, 9 stops in the last 2 games. He has been absolutely on fire. So if anyone can do it, I think he is in the position the last 2 games playing at his highest form to start making some crucial plays for this Lions defense.
All right, next play in the sequence is another pass rush situation. There you can see Hutchinson right here. And this is a really smart strategic decision by defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. And this is what I think they need to do in order to get pressure on the Rams in a similar situation. So they have their inside defensive lineman right here. I believe that's McNeil. He's lined up in a 2-eye technique on the inside eye of the guard. What that means is this guard has to respect him right there. Even if this is a gap protection and the center is working over this way, this guard can't bail to protect or to protect his right tackle from Aidan Hutchinson. He's got to stay in there to make sure that this defensive lineman doesn't get quick penetration this way right in the quarterback's face. So this right guard's got to be heavy-footed inside right there. That leaves all of this space right here for Aidan Hutchinson to go to work, and that's exactly what he does on this play. Let's check it out. All right, freeze right there. You can see the right guard. See how heavy he had to be with the inside foot? They actually have the interior defense lineman work out. That's kind of an interesting pass rush decision based on what Aidan Hutchinson does here because you see he does the spin move. Normally, when you do in a situation like this, you want your defensive lineman, and I don't know, Aidan Hutchinson may have done this on his own to work to an inside spin move. I'm not sure what the structure was, what the play design was, but normally in this situation, you'd like your defensive tackle to more attack the inside area of this guard to keep him here, to give your edge defender, Aidan Hutchinson, in this case, a lot of room to work with. But regardless, the right guard has to commit to block number 54 for Detroit, leaves one-on-one outside right here for Aidan Hutchinson, and man, what a great spin move. Pressure on the quarterback, short throw, get off the field, right? This is what you can do, Lions fans, in order to beat the Rams, right? Because the Rams basically passing game is basically essentially it's 3 parts. It's the play action game, which we saw in the earlier cut up, how the Lions can beat that with Aidan Hutchinson. It's standard drop back progression, things like that. But it's also really a lot of quick game in which they like to get the ball in the hands of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua on quick slants and quick screens and let them get runs after catch. But if you can get immediate pressure on the quarterback, the throw is inaccurate, right? Look at where this receiver has to go low to catch it, right? He has to stumble and go to the ground to make the catch before any Detroit line gets to him in terms of making contact. This is how you eliminate yards after catch. This is how the Rams live. They live on yards after catch with a lot of their passing game. Pressure on the quarterback results in an inaccurate throw, no yards after catch, short gain, get them off the field. This is the recipe. And it all starts with number 97 up front, doing a great job winning these one-on-one matchups. All right, going the other direction now. There's Hutchinson right there on the left side of your screen. This is a play I think that is really important for the Detroit Lions defensively because this isn't a clear domination by Hutchinson or anyone up front. This is just going to be a standard pass rush. The Vikings are going to give some chip help here before the tight end goes out in the route. Aidan Hutchinson is going to work into a pass protection, then work inside however he can. But I think the clear demonstration that this play shows is the championship playoff level effort the Lions are going to have to beat the Rams. I want everyone to watch this play because these are the kind of plays that don't go noticed on the stat sheet, but have a big impact in the game. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see a little chip help right there. You can see Aidan Hutchinson right here. He gets kind of chipped inside. They were running kind of a stunt. It looks like 55 Barnes is working out. Aidan Hutchinson's working in. He goes right here, does a great arm over move, beats the guard, keeps his motor running, gets in the quarterback's face. Quarterback has to check it down for a limited gain. Again, because right here, this is when I talk about effort, right here at this point, There's a lot of guys in this situation. Obviously, this is a great move. You can see it's a great angle of the right guard totally whiffing right there. Aidan Hutchinson making him look silly. But there are a lot of defensive ends, a lot of edge players. They get a little chip help and they kind of just run into the guard and then just kind of sit here. Maybe they do a little bull rush kind of situation and the quarterback can sit in the pocket and deliver the ball down the field, right? They sit here and go, okay, I got chipped. Right now, I'm not going to be able to get a sack. I might as well just throttle it down and see what happens. But you can't do that if you want to win in the playoffs, especially against a really good Rams offense. You have to keep working. You have to keep trying to generate pressure. And that's exactly what Hutchinson does here. Because right here, look, you can see it real quick. Watch Nick Mullins' eyes. It's really, really brief, folks, but I want you to notice how quickly he looks at Hutchinson and then immediately looks away and goes to the check down. Really, watch his eyes right here. Bang, real quick. You see it and then goes to the check down. That's the difference, right? He sees the pressure, feels the pressure, hits the check down. Forget it. If that's Matt Stafford, forget that's Nick Mullins. That's Matt Stafford. Same thing. Sees pressure. Check down. Good play for the Lions defense. This is the formula. It's not about winning the matchups all the time necessarily. Like he does here, he does a great job. But in terms of just alignment and structure, he can't get the sack. It's about the effort and intensity to still impact the play. And that's exactly what Aidan Hutchinson shows right here. All right, let's show a running play, a standard kind of running play here. Obviously, this is out of shotgun. The Rams more are likely to do things under center, but it's a very similar kind of concept in terms of we're getting a zone blocking scheme up front for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, very similar to the Rams. We have a man in motion across the formation. The Rams are going to do this all day long, and it's just going to be a zone scheme right here for the running back right here, trying to find a hole and then get north and south up the hash. You see Aidan Hutchinson right here, the in man on the line of scrimmage. This is a play that every edge defender has to make if you're going to stop a team that runs inside zone, outside zone. You have got to respect the bootleg and then get down the line of scrimmage to make the tackle. If you can't make this tackle, it is going to be a long day for your defense. Let's check out how Aidan Hutchinson does. There's a motion. There's a snap. Work down the line of scrimmage. Make the tackle. Check the box. Again, if you don't make this play, you're not going to win. And it looks like a fairly routine play, and I get it. He's not blocked. And maybe against the Rams, right, there'd be a little more window dressing or something different. I understand it may not be quite as easy as it was against the Minnesota Vikings. It probably won't be, to be honest. But still, you're going to have to make this play because there will be opportunities for your edge defenders, namely Aidan Hutchinson, on the backside of these zone running plays to make the tackle to limit the gain. Because if you can't make this tackle, if you can't make this play, you will lose. Right? It is that simple because if you look at this scheme right here, you've got 76 for Minnesota on Anzalone. They're downfield on everybody else. Running back getting north and south. This is a chunk play. Again, no one blocks Aidan Hutchinson. You almost expect him to make this play. But there are a lot of times, a lot of edge defenders, they try and slow play it too much. They're a little flat-footed. They can't make the tackle. Ends up being a big-time run. Again, these are the plays Aidan Hutchinson has to make. The fact that he made them against Minnesota is a great sign. The Rams are a bigger challenge. I think he's up to it, but he's going to really have to step up his game against a good LA team.
Yeah, and this is something where Aidan Hutchinson has struggled a little bit at times this year. And being a defensive lineman, you have very limited a number of times in a game where you're going to make tackles. 30 tackles all year for Aidan Hutchinson, but at times he's missed 12 tackles this season per PFF. He has been cleaning it up as of late, but that is something he really needs to focus on. You have to make the easy plays here. You cannot miss the easy tackles. He does not do it here. I feel like he's cleaning it up, really getting into his groove at the end of the season here. He should be able to put on a performance against the Rams, but if he misses tackles, that is how the Rams are going to beat you.
All right, end of game situation here. We're in the final 2 minutes or so. The Vikings are down by 10. It's obviously a passing situation for the Minnesota Vikings. Think of it similar as a 2-minute situation that you're going to see against the Los Angeles Rams. There's Aidan Hutchinson right there as the left edge defender. You got a defensive tackle lined up right there in a wide 3 technique. They're going to be running a stunt up front. You're going to have this defensive tackle. He's going to work vertically and try and pick off the right tackle, right there. Aidan Hutchinson's going to take a stab this direction and then tightly turn the corner and try and get pressure right in the quarterback's face. And again, I want everyone to focus on this play here for a second, because against a better offensive line, you're not going to always get the sacks or the tackles for loss or kill the quarterback necessarily, but making the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket can result in big time plays for your defense. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see the stunt, right? You can see the defensive tackle right there. He attacks the right tackle, kind of shields him a little bit, picks him there a little bit. I love how deep number 93 gets. See how far up the field 93 does? It forces the guard to really get into his pass set, opens up a lot of green grass for Aidan Hutchinson to turn this corner and work into, and he does a great job. Running back comes in late to give him a chip. So again, Aidan Hutchinson can't get the sack, but watch the quarterback here. Watch Nick Mullins. He can't step into this throw. He doesn't get a good shot on it, right? There's a lot of chaos right at his feet. And watch what happens. Can't step in the throw. It's a wobbler, and it's intercepted. Lions win. This is what you can do up front, right? Again, it's not always about the sacks. It's not always about the tackles for loss. It's making the quarterback uncomfortable. Matt Stafford wants to live in the pocket. He's a great quarterback, as Lions fans will know, when he's comfortable. But if you make him a little bit uncomfortable, you will have a chance. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Aidan Hutchinson here. That's what we saw all day against the Minnesota Vikings. And that's the exact kind of performance he's going to need to bring for the Detroit Lions to get a much waited for playoff victory.